I do lot of hoes.
Alrighty, guys, what is up? My name is Jordan. Most people know me as Supernatural001. Used to be, I was a GM of Talisman of Noxus. Now I'm making videos to try to teach people how to make their own server. So we, so far got 3 videos up. The first 2 was about getting what files you needed to get your server online and actually getting it online. The 3rd video, we briefly went over these files right here that are in your server side Melee GB and Mars folder, which corresponds with your client Mars. Some language you want to understand real quick, because this is how a lot of admins talk, and this is how I'll talk. When I say server side or game server, I'm referring to the folder that that is used to make the EVP that is put in your host. Pretty much the files that add up to the actual game. And then client side or client is what your players have. Client is almost the same as the game server. They have most of the files, but a lot of the important ones that involve the scripts for like world bosses, events, and a lot of other things, that's only in the server side. And then also in the client side, they have some extra folders like scene, which is we will get into later, but that's like to see the actual visuals of the maps. Model and Model 2 are referring to the textures and the EVAs files, which are the looks of, you know, items, the icons, the looks of mobs, and a lot of other things. So as I said, and then another thing I'll say is that when I say Melee BG or GB of the server side, just think I'm talking about the Mars on client side. Because if you look right now, I got the client side open on my left and my server side open on the right. They're exactly the same. So some reason the Mars, it only had a certain files. You don't want to add extra files that aren't here by default, because I'm not sure if that's going to mess up the server when you try to turn it on. I haven't tried that. I say keep it how it is. Don't try to do something new. So pretty much, and another thing, you want to make sure the files are in the same folders that they are in the game server and in the client. So make sure they're in the same folders and that they are the same version. So if you update, let's say you update your EXP, like let's say you put let's say you updated game special and you put the max level as 81 in the server side, but you didn't update it on the client side, like if you upload a new client to your website or if you made a patch and this still shows 70, when they go to run the client, they're going to get an error and they're not going to be able to open up the client. And then if you have something wrong in your server side, usually it lets you know when you try to turn it on, you know, what file, what line is messed up. So for this video, since we've already used 3 minutes of this video, we are going to explain these subfolders, which are the same in Melee, GB, and Mars. So we're gonna focus in Melee GB since it has more. We kind of already went over config yesterday, or well, for me it was yesterday, but in our last video, which we really explained only the main ones that you'll edit: the guild, the item, and client user, which is just to add so I think this is mine. So I have that script here for 3D. Wait, this is server side. No, it'll be the same. Let me show you real quick. So for people who already have their server and they don't have the 3D set up, let me see. I think I want to say is this last part here, but let me compare a normal one without it to mine with it. Oh, wrong way. So this isn't a part of the video, but it just popped in my head, so I'll just go over it real quick. Okay, so what we got? Offset, min this and max is offset, free x. Right here, this free xx, and these 3 lines right here. This is the script that you just copy and paste it in here, and they'll have 3D. They'll have a 3D look. So that means they can zoom out all the way, like, so they can see the fucking sky. Okay, so let's get into today's actual video. Let me get back to my, so that's the client. Okay, so today we are going to, we already went over config. The GS chat. Let me look at the client side. I think there's more files in this one. Local Mars GS chat. I thought there was more. Okay. This is real easy. This is oh wait, no, I think the what I'm looking for. I'm looking for I'm thinking of the file that has the emoticons. I thought that was GS chat. Oh wait, no, I think that's in common. Yeah. Okay. So don't worry about that. Well, as you see here, so in common, local common GS chat, and then local melee GB or Mars common or GS chat, they have 3 of the same files. So obviously you want them to match up. But we're not. These other 2 we'll talk about later. These are for the emoticons to get the cool emojis that are after like 47 or that after like 30, the normal talisman. Um, so these 3 are the ones we're focusing on. This is pretty much goes over the chats, like what channel, you got guild chat, friend chat, normal chat. These I only edited one, not channel page. I don't mess with these just because I had no need to. The only one that I mess with, which you would probably mess with, is your client and your client is channel info. So here, right here, you want to see which line refers to each type of chat. So here, this is what you look at. So you got team chat. This line is about team chat, guild chat, shout, whatever. So if you play normal Talisman, you know they don't allow you to talk in stone. It says you can't talk in stone. So that would be normal chat or general right here. So on a normal client, it shows there is a extra 0 here somewhere. Let me show you. Yeah, that's the only one out of the 3 that you'll mess with. But let me compare the 2 because there's one because if you use the client that I upload, it by default has it so that you can talk in stone, and it also has it that you have to be a certain level to talk in world chat. Those are the only 2 things that I edited in this file. I already spent 8 minutes and we didn't even get into the video yet, man. Okay, so what is this? 10 open. So because I can't open 2 files with the same name, I usually use out of one just so I can look at them side by side. So this one on the left is going to be a normal client. Maybe I'm mistaken. And there's something here. Anyway, so we will just go over the columns since I guess I'm mistaken. So max range. A lot of when you talk about range, it means like the distance. So when it comes to attacks, when you make skills and stuff, max range is going to be a statistic that you edit. I'm not sure exactly how far each 100 is, but most by default, most things are at the range of 300. So that's like if you use like the AoE of a wizard, I think the range for that is 300. So that's to give you kind of an idea of the range. Then content length obviously is the amount of characters, so 300 characters. GM obviously they can talk crazy. So right here, min level is the level that you have to be to talk into world. So on my server, I have it so that you can talk in world chat at level 5. By default, it has it that you can talk in world chat at level 18. All you would do is change that number to whatever level you want them to talk to. And then GM and level, I mean, you talk infinite, so don't mess with that. And then the other line would be min time. So this is referring to seconds. So how many seconds before they can talk again in whatever chat? Obviously, the only one that really matters is world chat. So I have it that they can talk like every 30 seconds. While normal clients is what is that, 3 minutes? Crazy. So really, that's all you would edit in this one. I was trying to figure. I haven't messed with it, but I wanted to try to set up a lines chat, which you would set up in those three files in here. Obviously, you would add an additional line. My thing ended right after. So I have Talisman's decrypted files, and they have in here a lines chat, which I'm not going to show. I showed originally until I realized my video stopped recording. But they have a lines chat in here, so that might be something that I try to work on to see if I can put it in a private server. Pretty cool. Anyway, so that's it for GS chat. It's real short, three, at least in the Mars folders, three files. You only mess with one. So the big ones in here the big folders that you'll mess with all the time is table and language. Language is we'll get into next. This is referring to like the description of everything. So when you click over an item and it tells you like what it is, whether the mostly is referring to the name of the item, or if you see the name of a quest, or name of a map, the name of an effect, the name of a skill you see. Um, yeah. So the ones that you will mess with the most are tasks, and I'll show you how they reflect how they actually reflect to. So you added two files pretty much for everything. The description, which is like the name of it and maybe the actual description of it if it's like an item or a skill, and then the actual file of editing where you would configure, if you got a quest, what they got to kill or what item they need to finish the quest. Um, so we'll also, I mean, this is another subfolder which we'll get into, but this will show you most of them. Oh, there, never mind. So effect, the actual effect file, the actual item file, item suit, which is purple gear, purple items, and skill. Those actual files are in local common table, which we will get into in after we get done with the melee GB files. And then task is the only one in a different folder, which is in table right there. So we'll go through these real quick. They also have a force one here for reputation. I don't edit this one. I just edit the one here. You'll see is that there's some copies of folders, copies of files in other places. Like in a local common table, there is a task as well. But I only edit this one in Mars table. So we'll go over the main ones that we edit, and then we'll go over some of the small ones that you would edit. I'll go first with saying the ones that you don't gotta touch. These 25 to 34, you don't gotta mess with those. Replace text, I've never touched. These 35, 40, I've never touched. Don't delete them, but you just don't gotta edit them. I don't think I've touched the message XML. Let me open it real quick to see. That's why I'm in my server side to see if I edited it before, so I can kind of explain it. Yeah, I haven't messed with that. This is like little talks that the NPC says, like when you're doing a quest or something. But that's not that important. So let's go with first into the big ones, the ones that you will mess with the most, which are all the description ones. Shit. Uh-huh. And I'll explain like what like the description is not just like a description. For some of them it's different. So and let me actually my server is online still. So I will also log my client on my server. My server my server officially I stopped paying the host and it goes down in like 3 days, so I can use my server for explaining things. Um so we will start with what's this first one here? Effect description. So if I go all the way down here, here you go for effects. So like if you're making a new buff, like here, you would have the item ID. Well, technically in this case it's the effect ID, which is like same thing. Your description files and your actual files, they'll all have the first column for an ID. You have to make sure they match up. If they don't match up, either the game server won't turn on, the client will crash, or if the effect won't work at all. So you always want to make sure that they match up. The names don't have to match up. They just have to show. You just want to make sure that they show what you want them to see in the effect description file, because this is the actual names of everything. So here you would do, descriptions of buffs is like what I have there. Skills, no, not skills. Skills is on one. but effects of like when you if you got a Pearl Fairy and you use the poison, which I'll show you, because the poison is a skill. Well, there's a skill that does the poison. The poison itself is an effect. So like let's right here see. So the poison on a fairy, like if you use it on somebody and then you see that they're the little effect that showed the icon on their character, this is the actual description. So a lot of these, like a lot by default, they have these weird little formula right here. This F param bullshit. All I can tell you, because I haven't messed with it much, is that this determines like this does like the auto, instead of you putting an actual fixed number, this like determines the number based off of the actual stat of your character of a character. So if you want it to look like if you wanted to, when they use an attack or a poison, and you wanted to show actual realistic numbers, you could use this little formula in it, and it does it by default. Like it determines the stat of what the damage would be or whatever. Um, Same thing for like if you make a pot, the description if that they want to see. This description has no effect on the actual stat, but it's just what they see. More buffs, uh, pet books, which you'll mess with. As I said, it doesn't have no effect on the actual item, but it's just visually to what they can see. So like my server, I should be able to log now. So if I log in my server, which I believe should still be online. Oh, I have it. I didn't turn on my host. Give me a minute. Let me turn my host on real quick, and then we'll continue the video. All right, we are back. So let me turn my server up in case anybody try to log. So we are talking about effects. So for instance, 30,000. So Nox is Pillow Strength. So let me. Carol Pill, was that it? Oh yeah, the actual item though. 6-2. So when you're making a buff, you're gonna be creating in the actual item of the buff here. And then you would actually be also creating an effect that the buff does. So like you see here, I got the item Carol's Pill Strength, which I don't think is the same one as this. But anyway, so the effect description is this right here, Carol Pill Strength, increase 20 strength. So this increase 20 strength in blue, that is what that is show was what will be right here. So right here, this column is the little description that I will see, like right here, the description in blue, those descriptions in blue is this second column. Oh, wrong folder, file. Is the second column. This first, well, this technically is the third column. This second column is the actual name of the effect, and this first column is the effect ID. And that's like the same for most of these. Well, for skill, it's pretty much the same thing. So the skill ID, when you create the skill, which we will go more into details once we get into the local folder, local common folder. And then so this is the name of the skill. So like I got skill rapid crack. So rapid. Boom. So this is skill 602. So I have the name of it, and then you see here in the description it has this crazy ass formula. This is another formula, mostly referring to damage, which if you adjust these numbers and in the actual skill file, you know, the damage would change. So based off of all the items I have and shit, this is the little damage that my attack would do between 3,400 3,800, and that's this little crazy ass formula here. So the minimum damage, which is the 3,400, between the maximum damage, which is 3,800. So if you would change these numbers, as I said in the skill one, your damage would raise. But yeah, that's it for the skill and description. It's pretty simple. Now these other ones, they look a little, they're a little more different. We'll go to item. So item description is referring to so you determine the actual name. So advanced apothecary pill, and then the blue description, as you see for all of these. For items like gear and fucking rings and all this other crazy shit that's not like a normal item, the only thing the item description does is the actual name. So here with this item, with these two items, the only thing that actually shows up in the item description that you edit is the name. So Wing of Athena, Wing of Zeus, which I'll show you. Wing. Let me go to Zeus. Boom. So see, there's three columns. Column 1 is the actual item matching with the item ID. Column 2 is the name of the item. Column 3 is the description. So like these are like the blue descriptions. So let's say what item I got. I got residual shadow. So if I went to look up residual shadow, can be exchanged to get Noxian rings and amulets. Boom, the blue stuff. Now for these purple ones and all this other shit, uh, the description down at the bottom, so you see the suit and then all the description there, that is what shows up in item suit description, which we'll get into after we're done with item description. For pets, same thing. All this list right here, not of the attribution assigned, but everything below increased master's mana, all that is what you would put in here as well. So if you look up a normal pet, bam, their description of like the skills. Now, mind you, this doesn't mean that they're going to have the skill. This skill, making a pet, is much more complicated, which we'll get into. There's two other files that we mess with, but we'll get into that later. So, but that's it for item description. Real simple. Name and description of the item. Now, item suit. This refers to not just purple gear, but purple in general. Purple rings, amulets, whatever. So here, what I have on my tamer right now is my level 6 rings. So if I search, so let me move this to the side so that you can also see it. So this file is a little more difficult. So as you see on purple items, they can have up to 6 bonuses. So I didn't edit here for the number, but you see 1, 2, 3, 4. You see 5 lines of bonuses, 5 different bonuses. So in the file, if you look at the top, the action 2 all the way to 6 is referring to how many items of that purple suit do you need to wear to get this bonus. And right now we're in the description, so it's just a visual of what shows on the item. But it's the same method that you added actual stat in the item suit file. But I'm just going over the description. So this is just a description of the bonus, and you do it. You don't have to do 6 bonuses. Like if you like for rings and amulets, I just have the 1 bonus. It's all in 2, which means you wear 2 rings and you get the bonus. Pretty simple. Yeah, that's pretty simple. You know, my wings, because I only have 1 wing, I put the bonus in item action hit 1. So you wear the wing and you instantly get the bonus. But this is a description file. Remember that. So the description is just the visual look. It's not the actual effect. So if you don't edit the actual item suit file, the description is just going to show. It's not going to do anything. Task description. In reality, the only 2 columns that matter is the ID, so the task ID, and then the task name. All this extra shit, these other files, nobody cares because somebody takes a quest and they go do the quest and that's it. They don't go over here and look at it and say, oh, quest description, complete the quest to get a shard. Nobody gives a shit about that. The quest requirement, this will show up from the actual task folder. Same thing with the quest reward. The only thing the task description does is the name of the quest. So the name that they see right here, and this quest description, which is not important. So eventually, you see here at the bottom, I just stopped editing the other columns. I was like, there's no point. I did this one just so that they can see, you know, hey, you do this quest and this is what you'll get. And then that's it. Oh no, that's not it for language. That's it for the main ones that you edit. So what are we in? Where am I? Shit, what are we in? Game server? I want to go there. So now we'll go into the other folders, other files, which affect like the names of the map that you're in, or the name of some other action. So let me just open up and I can show you. I don't think we do UI. I don't think I mess with UI, but I'll open anyway, just double check. So let them all load real quick. All right, we'll go to UI first because that's the one I don't think that you mess with, that I had to mess with. Okay, so UI, I lied. So UI, these numbers, I don't quote me. I don't remember exactly what the numbers refer to. It's something to do with the area of the map. So you're gonna want to. I don't have one for all my new maps, so I don't think it's a necessity because I have Jade and like 3 new maps and I don't have a line for them here. So I don't think it's that important. Some of these though, like so for gem inlay, my gem inlay system replaces enhancing and merging. So if let's say right now, and I'll show you what I mean. So add item 11. So normally when you add an item, it's going to be level 1 and everything. Mine's level 80. Just the version of gem inlay system I use automatically gets rid of enhancing and merging, and it uses those systems to create the inlays and add the inlays. So I changed the description of those skills or whatever to well, let me just show you. So my gym inlay and NPC is all the way shit lag when I got him out. Look at my crab. My crab looks amazing. So my gem inlay NPC, those description lines right there are this right here, are in these little boxes. So obviously when you would go to enhance, well, if you would click like well dang, it doesn't. Well, yeah. So like this little box, I edited the ones that for enhance and identify. Identify system also goes away. So as you see, if I do add item 11, 1 golden, if I get a dual one, if I get a dual one, it'll automatically be ID'd. So my Gemini system also use identify system. So all I did in these and the UI is they already had a line for it for identifying everything. I just changed it to match the description of what I'm doing. So create whole, just a little description so your players can know what they're looking at. This one doesn't matter too much for you unless you have Gemini. That's the only thing I've edited in this file. Message is the second least used one. Yes, the only thing I've ever added to this is the item configuration for wings. That's this is I just use rings in my most recent pass. I don't know a whole lot about it, so I'm not going to explain it too much. But some clients, I don't think my client had it, but some clients already have these set up, so you don't even got to worry about it. So these two are the ones who mess with the most. So script. So script script is used in pretty much any event you make or anything that you edit in your game server, local server, common table, anything in this file, you will most likely have a script for it. So when I say script, I mean like a rumor is considered a script. A bulletin, well, yeah. So pretty much a rumor, any rumor or specific talk you want an NPC to say in an event or something like that. So like here you see my rumors for killing a boss. This script, I added the script for it because when you make when you actually write out the script for the event or whatever, there's a spot where you put in the name of it so that it pulls this. So like if I didn't have this script existing right here, when they would kill, and let's say I'll give you 2 scenarios. So let's say I deleted the script from here. I deleted a line of script that describes pretty much the description of the rumor. If in my actual script in my NPC folder here, I have it labeled that is going to give a rumor, and I didn't actually make it. When they go kill the boss, it'll give a rumor, but it'll say unknown characters. So let's say I have scenario 2. Let's say I have the script in here, but I don't have a script. I don't have it mentioned in the actual uh, written out script here. There's not going to be a rumor. You want to make sure that if you want your event or whatever to have a rumor, that you have it created, and then you have it also mentioned in there. I don't want to open it up and show you because I have all my scripts there, and I don't want just everybody to see all my cool shit. But like, so scripts for like my Q&A event, for killing and summoning a world boss. So this formula right here. This formula right here for the player question. Jesus fuck. That automatically, that's the formula so that it'll automatically pull the player's name. So you do player in this, the next phrase would be the actual player's name. So let's say Joe Bob killed the last boss. It'll say truly amazing player Joe Bob got the last hit. Boom. Yeah, simple as that. So yeah, I've only edited this file to add rumors for killing bosses and then for some events. Now message table you do a lot. So message table, you'll add things. So like for skills, like life skills, like if you're gonna, like how they have mining and creating magic stone, you would want to add your this compose is referring to life skills, which we'll get into later. But for adding life skills, your map zones, so that the map zone is referring to the name of the area, which we'll get into later. But you want to make sure that you have this configured right. So the map zone, which will have to be the actual one in your map zone file, and then a second column for the actual name of the area you want it to be. So you see here, by default, because these right here are from actual Talisman. They have the crazy SN001 and the Chinese name. You can change this. You don't have to do it like that. This is just how they have it set up. But if I change this to the actual map zone, which I don't know off the top of my head, but let's say map zone underscore 72, it would still work. Same thing. So that would be for like, and then scenarios. So this is the formula for a scenario: scene stable underscore and then the actual name of the map, which you would know if you're making a map. You would want to add that in here. So areas of maps, caves, NPCs you don't have to add, but you can. If you want to, for traffic station, they're referring to like teleport ferry. They're called traffic stations. And then like life skills. Uh, but that's it for the language folder. So I went over descriptions, the message. Yeah. So this was a short video. Our next video we will be getting into is the only other thing we don't mess. I've never messed with UI. I've never messed with script. Well, script I lied. I messed with war. Oh no, not in this one. There's another war file. But yeah, so only language and table are the only ones I edit. So our next video will be table, which we edit a couple things. We mess with task, item smithing, and that's it for that one. Actually, I'll just put that in this video. So these tasks 25 to 40, you don't need to mess with. Auction, I've never messed with. Yep, I don't know what it means. Don't mess with it. PVE, you can. This is for PVE. You can mess with. This is the locations of mobs in there. Oh yeah, this is the client side, so you're not gonna see it. I have it on server side, but so let's go open to the two main ones that you edit in the table, and then quest. We'll go over it. We're not gonna create a quest. We'll do that later, but I'll just go briefly to explain most of the columns. So we'll do item smithing because it's smaller. So item smithing. This ID one refers to the plus. So plus one. For my server, my max plus is 11. So I got 11 lines. So this rate is the rate of combined success. So I have it so that up to plus 6, you have 100% success rate. Then you go lower. And so these numbers right here, I had a bug where I could I can use my bright emerald to combine a weapon or a mount to plus 11, but I couldn't combine an armor for some reason. So I'll show you. I have to show you the item file just so that you understand what those two columns refer to. So when it comes to gems, and a lot of things, gems, inlays, magic stone, they all have a unique ID, a code pretty much, which is a number that tells you what that exact thing is. Pretty much like it's defines its job. Like potions are 20, items that do completely nothing, but that are just extra items are 100. Mounts are 52. Uh, things that if you click and open, it gives you something else are 80. Stuff like that. For inlays, they go from 40 to 45 technically for large ruby. So let me show you what I mean. So bright emerald, I didn't make these are the actual configurations for it. So bright emerald is 46, bright ruby is 47. What I did, because I didn't know what these columns meant, because I've never edited them, I said 46 to 48. I thought, that meant like more damage or more, you get more bonus from combining. And then because my bright ruby, so here it says gem armor and gem trump. Trump always refers to weapon, and then armor obviously refers to gear. So because I had it as gem armor 48, but the actual ruby was 47, it would tell me that I didn't have an item to combine with. So I had to edit and make sure the numbers matched up. Now I don't know if you can change if you change this number, if it'll still if the item if the weapon the gem will work if you change the number. But because this is the actual line of it, I matched it up and it worked afterwards. So fair obviously is the how much it costs. So obviously this will change on its own. If you're combining a blue weapon or a golden weapon, golden is going to cost more. Same with purple. But this is like the default one. If you're combining a blue, I think is what it refers to. And then you don't got to mess with these other columns. That's simple. Bam. Now tasks. This is where it gets crazy. Look how many lines there are. Look how many columns. Boom. So we will go into depth. This is probably going to be a long video of each column or explain them to the best of our knowledge. A lot of these I just copy and paste and I added some columns. I don't know what all the columns mean, but because I know if one quest works and I change something, if I know it'll work still, I go with the flow. So we will go over the convoys. So I guess there's a reputation for convoys, which I didn't know. But if you have, damn, I put 15 for everything. Like I told you, I don't know what the column meant, so I put 15. I don't know if you can leave it blank or not. But yeah, so obviously you can do 15 for any quest and it works, because obviously I did that for everything. So level is the level. So column D, level. We're going to be talking about this line mostly. This refers to the level that they can see the quest. Not the level that they can take the quest, but the level that they can see it from an NPC. Difference, DIF, I don't know. But obviously I put zeros and ones in some. I'm not sure. I know I did zeros because I think I copied a ring, an amulet quest from another server, and I just changed the template I just changed it to match what I want. But so I'm guessing it doesn't matter, as in some have zero, some have one. So once is referring to one time permanently. If you have it as a zero, so zero is a yes or an on, and one is a one or off. So for rings, obviously, I don't want them to do the quest multiple times, so I have it as once, as in yes, they can only do it once. And then you see like normal quests here, like a dailies I have, it's not gonna be once. But usually, if you have it as a one on one side, uh, the next column, which is how many times you can do the quest per day, it'll be a zero if the first one's a one, or if it's a zero here, it'll be something else. So like I have it that they can do this quest for the amount 10 times a day if they wanted. Day rate, I left blank as in column H. All right, so these next ones aren't too important. I haven't matched up all the way through. Team accept and team shared. Team shared is if you are in a team and let's say you're doing a quest together. If you have this as a zero, only most likely the person who killed the mob will get the quest done. The whole team won't get it done. So make sure it's a one, just cause. Team accept is the same way. If you're in a team, only one person can accept the quest. So you just want both columns to be one, meaning that it's the option is turned on. Now, accept minimum level. This is the level that they can take the quest. I usually put it at level 1 because I don't care, because you can be level 1, but odds are, unless you can enter that cave or whatever, you're not going to be able to do it, so that's not that important. Accept max level. With the max level, you can take the quest, 99. So here, now this will be confusing for some people, but a lot of things have this little descript, these little what's the word, short title, name, whatever. So accept party. This is about if about the class that can accept the quest. So all means that any class, wizard, tamer, fairy, monk, assassin, they can take the quest. These other ones are specific to a certain class. So, and you'll see this in a lot of files. For skills, it'll be like there'll be a column that specifies what class can use a skill. So wizard, the shortcut, which you'll see this in a lot of files, as we go on, you'll see it more. EM is for wizard. FM is for monk. BH is for fairy. QC is tamer. XQ, oops. QC is assassin. XQ is tamer. Yeah. So usually this is only for like class based things. Like if you have specific quests for a class, like a gear quest, you would want it to match up with there, because nobody wants to see 40 quests on one NPC, but they can only do 6 of the quests. That's stupid. So and all is for like a daily or whatever. So here, these get into, now we're going to start getting into the actual quest requirements and reward and stuff. So accept requirement. This is like a requirement that has to be done before you can take the quest. So usually, like for rings, I have it so that in order for you to let's say, look here. So to get amulet level 5 of assassin, which is quest ID 2020, you have to finish quest 2019, which is level 4 amulet. I usually only edit this column for rings and amulets. I have it for nothing else. Oh, and then if you want to do guild, this is the formula. If you got guild quests, you know, this left side where it says guild level, this would be like a 3. So this is saying pretty much, if your guild level is over level 2, you can do this quest. If your guild is over level 3, you can do this quest. And there's a bunch of formulas in this column that you could do, but those are only 2 that I mess with. Except executive, I left blank. Extra furnace requirement. So when somebody does a quest, and let's say they're gonna get 2 items from the quest, and let's say they only have 1 space in their item box. Their quest is gonna complete, and they're only gonna get 1 of the 2 items. So that means they're gonna lose that second item, and there's no way for them to get it back. So you want to make sure, you can do this for everything. I did at least 1, but for like rings, I have 2 because you're gonna get 2 rings. I have it, so this is pretty much saying that in order for you to finish this quest, you're gonna need at least 2 spaces in your inventory. Because if they try to do it without 2 spaces, it'll give them a little message, not enough spaces in your inventory. And these next 3, I leave blank. Time limit, you can edit that. That would be like if you say you got 1 hour to do this quest. Like how SFC has a quest to kill some mobs in like 20 minutes. Kill NPC ID. Okay. So these next 2. Kill NPC ID and kill NPC number. NPC ID refers to the mob or boss, the actual NPC ID, which you would set up in the NPC local common table NPC file. The number refers to how many mobs or bosses you want to kill. So an example would be, I'm just going to make this number up. We're going to say this is SFC last. For this quest, you got to kill SFC last 5 times, and it will look just like that. Let's say you want to add multiple things though. So remember, always a semicolon if you're making a list. Always a semicolon. So let's say SFC last, CWC last, BC last. We're going to do SFC last 5 times. You need to kill it. You need to kill CWC last 3 times. You need to kill BC last 1 time. It'll look just like that. Bam, done. And you can also, if you want, you can edit these 2 files in the same quest line. These are referring to items. So like items that drop from mobs or boss, or just items that they need in general. So like for my rings and amulets quests, which are what these are, I have it so that you need the 2 rings, and then you need residual shadows. So 1 of each ring, obviously, and then 200 residual shadows. So these 2 columns you would set up if you want just a normal quest, they want to do an exchange, or if they need a drop-in item from a mob or a boss, you would put that item in here. And then the rest of these I left blank. I'm sure there's specifics for it, but I haven't created a crazy quest and to mess with these, so I just never learned them. These next 3, as you see, only Convoy had it. I deleted all the default quests that the server had. So, oh, I got you right here. My fault. So these 3 you would edit for dropping from like a mob or a boss. So here, let's say, yeah, so they all go together. So let's say you're gonna create a quest. Like for this example, you're gonna create a quest that, let's say you got 1, 2, 3, you got 5 mobs that are gonna drop items for your quest. So you list the 5 mobs. Well, no. So you list the item ID of the 5 items, because you have to actually create the item. You can't just list a random item. How many of each item do they need? So they need 1 of each item. And then you'll list the item, the mob ID that the item will drop from. So like this one is like a bullshit version of MDV dailies. So I chose 5 mobs in MDV. They're gonna drop, each one is gonna drop a specific item. The order of this item is gonna be the order that matches in here. So if you want this second item, ship. So if you want the second item to drop from the first mob, you're gonna have to put this to make it the first item. Order matters. And so then you'll put here the mob ID that's gonna drop the item, the item ID that's gonna drop from each mob. Order matters. So the second item is gonna drop from the second mob. The rate that is gonna drop. So right now this means that they have a 20% chance of dropping the item if they kill one of these mobs. And then how many IDs how many items do they need? So obviously A, C, and Y match up, and A and X match up. And then here, I have this 0.99. I don't know what it means, but I had it all the way for all my quests. It doesn't matter. Now we're going to get into explaining the rewards. So there's a few columns here that you edit, and there's a few ways to edit them. So this reward fixed EXP, this is primarily if in the quest you want to give a reward of gold, energy, and EXP. Energy is Nimbus. So that's what this first column is. That's all you would add in here. Or if you wanted to add credit to our reputation, to reputation points, this is the command for it. Add credit, the reputation ID that we saw in Forest, and then how much reputation points. And then you can also do it for guild contribution value, which I have somewhere here. I thought I have it somewhere. Whatever. So reward fixed. This is where you would list the items. So add item, you have, so you see, let me show you, there's 2 ways to write them out. So look, you got here, add item exe, and then the item ID, and then 3 other numbers in between, and then you just have add item, the ID of the item, and then 1. So this one and this version of editing, add item 61091 means they're going to get one of this item 6109. So we're going to say this is large ruby. They do this quest, their reward is 1 large ruby. It is going to be unbound. By default, quests are going to give items unbound. If you want the item to be bound, you would write it like this: add item 161001. This number right here refers to the way the item is. If it's bound at their pickup, bound at their use. Where you would get those numbers from is there's a file that actually explains what each of those numbers mean. And that's that. And then when you're editing like an NPC shop, those are the only times that you would edit the pickup mode. Shit. I don't know where it is. I believe it's in server. I was looking for it yesterday too, man. I don't know where it's at. Whatever. But yeah, I think so. 1 is bound. I think 2 is bound after pickup. 3 is bound after use. But yeah. So in this case, you can do it. You have to list them one by one. If you wanted to get 10 large rubies, you gotta put this formula in and a semicolon and write it out 10 times. Um, if and that's if you want it to be bound. If you want it to be unbound, you can just do like this and put 10, and it'll give you 10 of them. But when it comes to being anything other than bound, you have to list each one as many as you want. Otherwise, you can't edit this and change it to 10. These are pretty much two different formulas. This formula is referring to the type of pickup mode it is. And this is referring to just it being unbound in the quantity. Okay, and then here, this next column, this is like they got a choice of what reward they want to get. You know, let's say you do a quest and there's options to get 2 buffs. They can only choose one of the 2 buffs. So you would just do add item and you would list each item in it. And then by default, when they would go to the quest, do I have an option? I do have one here. Give me a second. Oh, I think I deleted it actually. Shit. I deleted the quest that I had. Wait. Let me see. Yeah, I deleted the quest. But it would look like this. Oh, I got you right now. I'll show you one. My Blood Palace. I have the boss. I have a quest for palace owners. They can get a 2 unique mounts. They have an option. So right here, I got right here. So this is what the quest would look like. So you list the 2 items in there, and then they can take the quest and they'll see optional reward 2 items. And then when they go to take it and they go to choose, when they go to accept to finish it, they got to choose one. And let's say you choose one, bam, you get the one. And then it goes away because for that quest I have it, they can only do it once a day. But that's it for explaining it. We'll actually create some quests and try the different versions of editing later on. But I'm just briefly explaining like the columns and what the files can do. So that'll be it for today. Because technically this is one big ass video. But we are done with the Melee GB. Yeah, we're done with that. So the next big videos, this will take a long time because there is, as you see, I alone edited, what is this, 17 files. This is just my last patch. And then, yeah, I had pretty much over 30 files I edited in my last patch, which was in making new maps, new items, new teleports, new skills, new effects. There's a lot that goes into it. There are very few. I'm just not gonna go into it right now because it's a lot. But yeah. So thanks for watching. Um, this weekend, hopefully we can get in some more videos. But I'm gonna try to be doing at least one video every day or every other day, depending on my time. So like right now, what I'm doing is I'm making a video and then I upload it the next day in case I can't record that day. Technically you get new content every day. So right now I got 2 videos that I could upload, but we'll just see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope I'm teaching. I know I'm not the best teacher. I'm not an expert at all at any of this. So I'm sure there are many admins out there who can explain better because they know way more than me. Some of the things I might say are wrong, but a lot of it isn't wrong because I've tried and errored a lot of it. But thanks for watching.